Hello ladies and gentlemen and my wonderful YouTube audience, welcome back to Pine Cove Farms here in Farming Simulator 19 with me, CWATTY. We have today, well, we've got a job to do today. I've been having a bit of a problem. Well, I've encountered a couple of problems since the last video. If you remember at the end of the last video, I'd just done a baling contract down here on field 10, and I'd also done a harvesting contract over here on field 13, and I'd left the straw ready to collect off camera and bring back to the farm to use with obviously my horses. When I reloaded the save the other day, I couldn't collect the straw on this field. It was telling me I didn't have access to the field, although I had actually already collected like 2 or 3 rows of grass off this field. And I'm wondering if the game's having a bit of an issue when I basically log out of the game with a contract in progress, or worse still, I have it set to completed. Because there's no straw on this field now at all, and this field is now growing again. So I don't know what to suggest. What I have done, though, to counteract that, I have done a contract very quickly over here on field 1, which was another wheat harvest, and I actually sat and did this contract all in one go. So I did the harvesting and then I did the straw collection straight after, and as a result it worked perfectly fine. I got a load of straw off the field, I got a load of wheat. So the straw is currently sitting in my silo, and I've got 600,000 litres of it, so I'm doing okay for straw at the minute, which should keep the horses going for a while. But it's something to keep an eye on. The contract's bugging out and glitching out if I save and exit the game whilst they're in progress or whilst they're completed. Because that's possibly what happened on that other contract I did for field 20 when I did the corn harvest. And then when I delivered my corn, I got ripped off and only got paid 11 grand. When I should have got paid 44 grand for the amount of corn I actually delivered. I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. So what I've got to try and do is make sure I don't leave contracts active or completed when I save and exit. So I'm going to do a bit of a test today then. Today's going to be a bit of a test for science, and just to check that everything's working okay in my game. I accepted this contract before I saved and exited the game last. So let's have a drive over to field 4. Or drive up to field 4 and see if we can harvest the oats on field 4. And maybe collect some straw. If I collect the straw this time, I'm just going to be selling it. I'm not going to stash it, because I've got 600,000 litres. That should keep me quite busy for the time being, especially as I've learnt something. About this map that I did not know. I did not realise until Mr. Stevie told me that on his maps now, including this one, when you harvest canola and soybeans, you get straw. You can get straw from your canola and your soybeans without the need for straw me mods or anything like that. So that's something I can put to the test, because obviously my field down the bottom here has canola on it, and when I harvest that, it would be nice if I got straw that I could also sell and transport and transfer over to the to sell, to raise a little bit of money that I need to obviously start buying land. I've also got a couple of mods ready installed as well. We've had a couple of mod updates recently, some pretty big ones by a couple of big mod makers. We've got the new 9RT update from Custom Modding, which brings us a lovely, wonderful actual 3D tracks now on the machine. So we love it. We've got proper 3D tracks. You can have it in EU or US. You can have a 3-point link on the back for all you fans of 3-point links that come in very handy. Obviously, you can put your machine numbers on it. You got your engine setups. Bit surprising, it only goes up to 570. Yeah, extra monitor. Your extra little monitor there in the cab. 100 years of John Deere celebration sticker on the back window. Choice of where you want your beacon lights, left, right, or both, or none. So yeah, that's a great little machine. Lovely update, the John Deere 9RT. I hope they're going to bring out an update for their 8RT next, because I'd love to see the 8RT upgraded to have 3D tracks. And then we've also now got from Carl's Farms, he's got the new we've got the new AFS Connect Magnum, AFS Connect Magnum update as well as come out, which again sees Carl add proper 3D tracks. The reason why we're getting 3D tracks appearing now on a lot of things is because some really talented modder has, I guess the football's about to start, folks. England versus Germany today in the Euros. Obviously, people are going a bit crazy for that. Some talented modders come out with a fancy little tool which allows people to use the 3D program Blender to make, you know, actual 3D tracks. These are actually user-made 3D tracks. These have not been ripped out of or, you know, cracked out of a Giants DLC or anything. These are absolutely the proper McCoy. Okay? These are absolutely brand new, so there's going to be a lot of modders starting to use this tool to make their own 3D track systems. I mean, this thing's just... And what's amazing about this thing is obviously Carl's gone to town with it. He's got so many different belt configurations and everything on all the different models, the narrow frame, the Steiger, all of them. A lot of 3D track support coming to his mod, so be nice to see a few other mod makers now copying and updating mods. I imagine we will see it. We'll see a lot of mods get updated from people. Why won't that open? See, that's doing the pipe bit on the back. I keep having this problem every time I start the game. Oh, I cannot seem to get my... It doesn't save. It's not for some reason. It doesn't want to save my gamepad controls when I'm doing this. I'm having to do it every time. There we are. Something's gone horribly wrong there. Have I pressed that in the wrong direction? If I do it that way, then I do it that way. That's going in and out. That's going up and down. There we are, folks. Right, we can actually start cutting. We can actually start cutting crop. 12 minutes into the video. It's lights out and away we go. So yeah, I expect to see a lot of modders upgrading their mods with the new 3D track tool. Be able to make their own 3D tracks that work with their mods. I will expect to see the X9 by Sid Modding updated very soon, along with maybe the 8RX as well in his John Deere tractor pack thing. I'd like to see the John Deere Autonomous get an upgrade as well to have 3D tracks. I know I've already got a version with 3D tracks, but I'd like one on the mod hub, an official one, a proper one. Not one that somebody's downloaded, done an edit of themselves and then redistributed. So yeah, I'll be definitely looking forward to seeing that. A lot of 3D track support coming. And that applies to everything really. I imagine we'll see seeders with 3D tracks, some of the planters with 3D tracks, some of the trailers. I imagine all of those things will be getting upgrades by their respective authors. Now these tools are out there in the wild and people can use them. So yes, the reason I've chosen to do an oat harvest is because, quite simply, the excess oat off this field I'm going to use for feeding my horses. That is the plan. Because I don't have any horse food at the minute. I've got a bit of hay, obviously, left over some hay bales from the baling contract. But I haven't yet got any actual food. And because I've got canola planted on my own field at the minute, I've got to wait till I harvest that before I can plant my own oats on my own field. So yeah, this contract's going to give me a little bit just to tide me over and keep me going for a few days. I mean, yes, we've got money. And yes, I could go to the store and I could, you know, buy a load of horse food and bring it back to the farm. I could do that, definitely. It is a potential option for me to do so. Also, for those of you that are crying out at the screen right now going, you're not dropping straw, CWATTY, you're not dropping straw. You said you was going to collect straw. I'm not dropping straw on the headlands. Just because it causes that hole, you do not have permission. You do not have access to this land stuff. So, I go once round the field without dropping any straw, just to give myself a buffer on the field, and then I can come pick up straw. I don't know if I'm going to pick up all the straw on this field, because it's a big field. Field 1 took me a long time to collect all the straw off. That was a big field, because obviously my loading wagon is tiny. It's got a very small capacity, because it's a vanilla loading wagon. I haven't, like I say, I haven't installed a lot of mods on this Let's Play series. If you're new to the series, and you're jumping in right now, I haven't installed a lot of mods. This is really a very almost vanilla experience. Like I say, apart from the 9RT mod that I added today, and the Cole's Farm update that I installed and added today, I haven't really got a lot of mods installed. And the only reason I added those was because I wanted to showcase them at the start and say, hey, look at these two great mods that have been updated and come out now. They've been updated. Now, again, full disclosure, the version of the Cole's Farm Magnum, Case Magnum, I haven't got the version off the mod hub. I've got the one off his Facebook page, because again, he just puts slightly more, a few more options into the PC version on his Facebook page. Put some higher resolution textures and stuff, which he's not allowed to do on the mod hub one, because obviously on the mod hub he releases it for both PC and consoles, and because of console restrictions, he has to kind of downgrade the mod a little bit. He has to downgrade the mod for consoles. So I always download the PC version, the full featured version from his Facebook page, and I encourage anybody on PC to do the same. By all means, download it off the mod hub, just so he gets that little nod and gets the reward from Giants. But then go to his Facebook page, download the version on his Facebook page, and overwrite the mod hub one with it, and you'll be golden. You will be golden. So yeah, I've made a little bit of money, obviously, from when you last saw me on the save, because obviously I've done that harvest contract on field 1, sold the excess wheat that we got off that field, sold it all, and obviously cashed in the contract today, so I got paid for it today, as you saw at the beginning of the stream. So we're back up to 176,000 bucks, which is going very nicely. I was also looking at me horses. They're nearly at 20 grand already. Look, me horses, they're nearly at 20 grand. So, you know, they're coming along nicely. 16 of those. You know, that's you know, just over that's 320 grand right there in horses we've got sitting there, you know. Now if I sold those, I'd be 320 grand richer straight away. I could then afford, like I say, I could afford to fill up my other 3 horse stables, pens, enclosures, whatever you want to call them. But the problem with that is I don't have the food. the food at the minute stops me expanding and filling the rest of my horse pens. The food situation, so I need to do some, like I say, I need to do some harvesting. I need to get some stuff built up. And what's weird about the horses is, like I say, carrots, potatoes, beet pulp. Now, beet pulp, I'm going to need to do the global company buildings for those. So I'm going to need to buy and place global company buildings, which is more expense. Feed pellets is exactly the same. I'm going to need to buy and place buildings to be able to do those. But I should hopefully be able to get around the beet pulp and feed pellet issue at the beginning by using hay and regular oats. I mean, I do have the option of, like I say, using carrots and potatoes, but again, to harvest the carrots and the potatoes, I'm going to need more equipment, which is obviously more money. And right now, our priority is buying more land. We need more fields. I need more stuff that I can farm myself. Obviously, we can still keep doing the contracts to keep the money coming in, but it would be nice to grow stuff that we can use on our own, you know, our own business. So I'd like to grow everything for my horses on my own land. But we're going to need to get that sorted out. I mean, technically, if I need any grass to do hay, I can obviously mow a bit of land around field 2. There's a bit of land around the farm that I could potentially mow. There's the bit obviously opposite the horses now, where we had all the other animal pens that I've grassed, and hopefully that's all growing grass. That'll come in very nicely, and I'll be able to use that to just do some little hay, just some small hay farming. There is a mod I'm going to download and install. Someone sent me a link to it on Facebook. Someone sent me a link on my Facebook to it. It's a modified version of the Chrome Swadro windrower. That does obviously it windrows, but it also, in the process of doing the windrows, it takes the grass and turns it into hay, which saves you having to do tedding first and then windrowing. You can just do it all in one pass, one single pass with one piece of machinery. That's going to be a huge time saver, absolute huge time saver. So I'm going to go and download and install that at some point. There we go. There's the first bit of oat. There's the first empty done. Right, I'm going to drop straw now. And then we can bring the loading wagon down and get it all nicely collected. You notice I'm not doing this with course plate, I'm doing this all manually this time round, because it's a bit of it's a simple enough process to do. Course play came in very useful in that previous video when I was doing that baling contract, just because of the sheer number of vehicles that had to be in motion to get that contract done. You know, you had the mower, you had the tedder, you had the windrower, you had the baler, and you had the bale collector. That's 5 machines that had to be moving to get that contract done quickly in a day. and at the same time I was able to have this harvester over on field 13 over there on the west side of the map, he was self-unloading. He was running with course play, obviously, harvesting the field, self-unloading into the trailer parked on the edge of the field, so I didn't need to interrupt him. He went and did that job splendidly, absolutely splendidly. It was just a shame that the contract glitched on me, and it wouldn't let me collect the straw then when I reloaded the save a couple of nights ago to collect the straw and get prepared for today's recording. And then I ended up, because I didn't get the straw off field 13, I ended up doing that harvest contract on field 1 to get the straw, and so I could be ready to start today's recording. And obviously today's recording should have been recorded yesterday on Monday, because that is normally when I record. I normally record all my episodes for the upcoming week on a Monday, knowing that I've already got Tuesday's video uploaded from the previous week. But I had a terrible day yesterday, terrible day, where I only woke up at 5 PM in the evening. Literally slept the whole freaking day away. So I was like, well, that day's a bust. Didn't get anything done yesterday. And then today, I've done near enough exactly the same thing. But today I managed to wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm desperately trying to get this video recorded now, so it can be rendered whilst I'm watching the football. And then this video will obviously be Thursday's video this week. So this one will go up on the first, will be the 1st of July. Thursday the 1st of July's video. And then obviously tomorrow being Wednesday the 30th of June, I'll have to get Saturday's video, Tuesday's video, and maybe a couple of videos recorded tomorrow. Try and get a little bit ahead again in the series, give myself a bit of breathing room. But then I've got the slight problem that tomorrow I've got to go and have 2 MRI scans done tomorrow. I've got to have a cervical spine MRI, and I've got to have a thoracic spine MRI done. I've got to have 2. I had my lumbar spine done 2 years ago, and obviously they found, and the doctors found and have seen that the sepsis that I got in my spine after my car accident in 2016 has caused my the discs in the bottom of my spine to all basically degenerate and fall apart, and also my nerves. It's in the there's a certain block of nerves between your L2, L3 and L4 vertebrae, which is given a real fancy name, the cauda equina or something like that. I think it's the cauda equina, which is like the big group of nerves which then branch out at the bottom of your back and go off to all the different lower parts of your body and everything. All those nerves are absolutely shot in the bottom of my back because of the sepsis I got, that the hospital gave me. And obviously the concern that the doctors and that in the pain management service who are treating me, or are looking to treat me, is that they are concerned that if I've got that kind of damage and degradation in the lumbar part of my spine, they expect I will have very similar in the thoracic and cervical part of the spine, especially as that was like the point between where the cervical spine, which is like your neck, upper back, meets your thoracic spine, which is like your whole chest area. The point between those two is where the hospital inserted my epidural to try and obviously administer pain relief when I was in there after my car accident, and it was that site that got infected. It was that point which got infected, and that's where I developed the sepsis, right between the cervical and thoracic spine. So pretty what was that? So pretty much everyone's like expecting that they're going to do the MRIs tomorrow, and they're going to see I've got much more damage to my spine than they previously identified. Or when the doctors didn't know what sort of long-term effects and repercussions I would have having got sepsis, they're probably now going to find out what the long-term repercussions are of getting sepsis in your spine. And that will explain why I've been in such great pain the last several weeks. You know, the last, 8-9 weeks, and why I've been having such problems with my legs, and why I've found it really difficult to sit for periods, and do a lot of recording and streaming. Certainly, like I say, at the minute, I can't play any games with my brand new Thrustmaster steering wheel and pedals because my legs just can't operate the pedals. You know, I physically do not have the strength in my legs at the minute, and the reactions in my legs to be able to operate the pedals of my simulator. So don't worry people, I don't drive in real life either, so you have nothing to fear there from me. It's not like I'm out driving a real car and not being able to use my legs. And also to Mr. Helgi, if you're wondering, Mr. Helgi, if you're out there watching the video, I'm sure you are, you do like to watch all the videos, and no doubt you'll leave me a comment if you hear this. Normally when you tell me, why don't you just use your legs, you know, that whole why don't you just use your legs thing, yeah, I can't at the minute, Mr. Helgi, because they don't work. So for right now, you're just gonna have to stick to asking that question to people in wheelchairs instead. Okay, Mr. Helgi. I still haven't met a person, again, because I don't go anywhere, I don't leave the house, you know, I haven't left the house really much over the last, unless I'm going to an appointment, I don't leave the house, so therefore I've not encountered any real people, or people that are not part of my family, so therefore I've not yet encountered someone in a wheelchair that I can go, why don't you just use your legs? And if people watching this video don't get that, it's a whole joke thing that came up a long time ago now when Mr. Helgi was playing, we was playing multiplayer. It's a bit like In Your Face Chickens. It's one of these jokes that's part of the whole multiplayer, come out of the whole multiplayer farm simulator experience. So if you want to come join in with those jokes and you want to become part of that multiplayer community, feel free to hop over onto my Discord channel, and I do have a multiplayer server online at the minute running the default Felsbrunn map with the default vanilla equipment with all the DLC installed. There's only 2 mod requirements: better contracts and additional game settings, which for people who don't know what additional game settings is, it's this extra menu here which allows you to turn off camera collisions, disable your depth of field, change your brightness, change your lighting. You could turn on trailer fill level HUD. You can make a few additional settings, stuff that honestly should have been in the game options. You can turn off the birds if you don't like the visibility of the crows and stuff. So yeah, you know, these are all good things. all very good things. So yeah, if you want to play some multiplayer, like I say, at the moment we're on the Felsborough map. We own a few fields. We have no buildings. We only have leased equipment at the minute. We're basically doing contracts, all the contracts that are available every day on the map to make money, and slowly build up our own, like I say, our own farm. Like I say, we have bought some land recently, so we own, I think, 4 fields, but that's it. We've got no buildings, we've got no silo, we've got no animal pens. These are all things that are a work in progress for us. And like I say, our equipment, our harvester, our tractors, our current seeder, subsoiler, they're all leased, they're all on hire. The only we only own 1 tractor and 1 trailer at the minute on the multiplayer server. Those are ours because we can use that tractor and trailer with contracts. Like when we're doing harvesting contracts, it's much easier to use our own trailer than the one that they lease you, because our trailer holds, obviously, more capacity. So you have to make fewer journeys to the sell point to complete the contract. And that's about it. That's about all we bought. A trailer was cheap. Trailers weren't very expensive, so we bought a trailer when we first started. We figured that would be the most useful bit of kit right at the start of the game for transporting stuff about. Like I say, we've leased a harvester. It's nothing special. It's the Class Tucano from the DLC. It's an average, I suppose you would say, medium-sized tractor, harvester. Sorry, that does. That so far has handled every harvesting contract we've thrown at it, whether that be, you know, corn, sunflowers, or any of the grain crops. We've got a Challenger, I think it's the, is it the M800? And we've got the Culti Plough subsoiler for doing, obviously, ploughing, subsoiling, and cultivating. And then we've just got one of the, I want to say it's a Kavernland seeder for doing seeding contracts and seeding our fields, because it just does seed. It doesn't take fertilizer, so it has a 6,000 litre seed tank, which is very efficient for doing seeding. Unfortunately, we don't have a planter, so we can't plant like your corns, your sunflowers, your potatoes, your sugar beets and that sort of stuff, which weirdly at the minute seems to be what a lot of the contracts want you to plant. They want you to do a lot of planting. So I may have to look at getting leasing a planter as well, so we can bang out some of those contracts and get paid for it. Although seeding contracts are a bit of a pain, because you have to buy the seed, which obviously comes out of your payment. But hey, like I say, it's multiplayer, it's fun. Come and join in. Meanwhile, here on Pine Cove Farm, I'm going to carry on getting this lovely oat harvest done. Obviously, it's now 17 minutes past 5, which means the England game has started. England v Germany has started in the Euros. So I should probably save the game here and go and watch the football and then come back. Or I should pause the game here, go watch the football, and then come back and carry on and do a bit more recording for the next episode in the series. So thank you everybody, my wonderful viewing audience, for watching today's episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you again in the next one in the future. So for now, please go ahead, click that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you rung your notification bell. Leave me your comments in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye for now, folks.